strong. It's rather unbelievable, actually. So, all right, enough with me yapping. We can get into the Q&A. Can be any question about anything. I know Jay had one in here about sales tax. I'll answer that. How do the questions normally work? If you have a question and your camera's on, you can just raise your hand and be like, hey, I've got a question. I'll see that. For everyone else, if you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, you can see there's this like little smiley face thing that says reactions. And if you click the reactions face, it gives you a way to raise your hand digitally speaking, and that lets me know you have a question. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on. Okay, I hate being on video. I totally understand that. But yeah, that's how we do the Q&A. And I know you guys, a bunch of you came on late or whatever. Don't worry, I'm going to send you a web page that's going to look like this after the fact that will have a replay to the session and then all of the links to the various different things that I talked about. So if you missed it and you came late and you want to go click on any of these things or look at any of these things, you can do that. So that's where I'm at. So who was my first question? It was Jay. Let me see if I can grab Jay. So Jay's asking, and I'm going to unmute you, Jay. Jay's asking about, can you cover tax issues for sales out of state? Number one, I would say our software does that for you automatically, so it's not something you have to worry about. But number two, it's pretty easy to get through the sales tax issues, Jay. The hard thing to do is sell the work absolutely to a whole bunch of different states. That is the hard problem. The non-hard problem, any of the tax implications, which are all pretty simple. That's what I would say. Yes, we can drop ship prints. We're like, the way that our software works is we have one-click integrations with Bay Photo on the West Coast and then a huge company called Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. And you get the order. You get paid, the printer gets paid, the order gets printed, the order gets boxed, your logo goes in the side of the box, the order gets shipped. You don't have to touch a single solitary thing or touch any of the transactional emails, none of it. So it's a pretty cool way to go about it, I think. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Someone said Amazon, or Desmond said Amazon, supposedly. Not quite Amazon, but yeah, an art-specific Amazon. But who else, guys? Questions? I feel like I need one of you guys to just be brave. Okay, throw that hand up and get this thing started. Everyone's being scared. Lisa gets my humor. She gave me a smile on that one. I appreciate it, Lisa. See, there we go. That's what I'm talking about, Margot. All it takes is one. All it takes is one. Okay, you go ahead, unmute.
Okay.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
I'm so excited about this.
Oh, great. I'm excited you're excited.
So I'm actually doing fine art photography and painting.
Yep, no problem there.
Going into more painting, I don't do photography.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but photographing to make the prints, to do all of that, is there some, getting the lighting right, etc.?
Yes. Yeah. We have a guy. Sort of kind of the cool things about, we've been in business now for like coming up on 10 years, and then in the business for just artists and photographers, because we're a little bit different. What I'm trying to say is we have a lot of customers now, and their like width and breadth is starting to get amazing. And so one of the customers we have is a guy that did all the photography for Christie's for a while. And so he wrote this like really crazy in-depth post on how you get the lighting right and what cameras to use and what setups and da-da-da-da-da-da. That being said, I'm partial to Craigslist. You'd be surprised how inexpensive you can get it done. They come to your house. They'll do all of them. $25, $35 an image a lot of times is done. And then, they do all of it, and it's all done in an afternoon. As long as you live in like a decently sized city, you could post on Craigslist and you'll get like 65 responses of people who are like, yes, I've done this before. I'll come. So something to contemplate.
Yeah, that's really good. Well, apparently like the key printer left here. So I'm, because I was thinking of doing prints locally, and then, and the guy that everybody used left. So.
Yeah, it's I've been in the industry since some wizard of smart invented the word G-Clay because no one liked the word inkjet prints.
Right.
And it's sort of interesting to see, like, because it's still new, right? It's like, what, 20 years old or so. It's sort of interesting to see the evolution where, like, all the small printers sprung up and then they were spread all over the place geographically, awesome, like local service, everything else. And then the computer equipment started getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And then everyone got the same computers, everyone got the same monitors, everyone got the same color correction stuff, everyone was using the same media types. And then all of a sudden it became, okay, well, who's buying ink by the barrel? And that's the only ones, those are the only ones that are left. It's gone. There's the sad thing is, like, you know, the service that you get. But once we moved into this like POD world, this print on demand world, it's not ever worth it. It's not ever worth it. And the reason it's not ever worth it is the time that you waste driving down to the printer and picking up samples and on the phone with them and everything else is not time you're spending on your marketing, which is the only thing that's going to make the business grow. In addition to that, although it doesn't happen that often, it's kind of nice. But when you use these huge companies like Bay, like Graphic Dimensions, that are doing 30 or 40 or $50 million a year, something happens. The print gets dinged. There was a cut. The color is off. Your customer calls you, complains. Because these companies are so big, instantaneously they're just like, yeah, we don't care. Sending in another one. So it'll be in the mail. Well, what do you want me to do with the old one? Just tell them to dispose of it. Right? They don't even care. They don't even want to get it shipped back. That's like, that is a waste of our time. That is a waste of my money. Like, you know, they just instantaneously replace it. And it's like, that's kind of nice to have. It doesn't happen that often, but it's kind of nice to have that, you know, in your back half as well. So that's what I would say.
That's awesome. I've actually seen Bay. I went to a conference and they showed all their stuff to us. It was a unique group.
Yeah.
It's a very small group. And they were phenomenal. I mean, their prints looked really, really good.
Yeah. They're amazing.
And that was when I was doing photography. Now I'm doing painting. But
yeah.
So
you
that's
don't
excellent.
You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into one or the other, by the way. For all you know, they both might sell. One might sell more than the other. It could be a smattering of both. You never know until you get into like the act of marketing. So, you know, a lot of people are like, well, I got to figure out what my niche is. It's like, no, you don't. How are you going to figure out what your niche is if you don't start trying to market it and sell it? Once you market it and sell it, that's when you will find out, right? So that's always how it goes.
Good. Yeah, because it's really about the sales. I mean, you know, marketing and sales, right? So
100% is about the marketing. It's either like, look, you know, I make the distinction. We're not for hobbyists. If you want a hobby, you can have a hobby. Everyone knows what that looks like. You create whatever the heck you feel like, and then it doesn't sell, right? If you actually want to grow a business in which you're, you know, getting a regular and consistent income off your creativity, then you have to treat it like a business and take it serious, and that's where the marketing comes in.
Yeah, and that was the production side, you know, the turnover. That was my concern. Was I'm like, okay, so we're painting, but now I have to get all of these up on the, you know, online. And then like the G-Clay, those things were expensive just to print one to show. So, you know, there's some capital that goes into this before it even gets out there.
For sure.
And then you're wondering. So I thought, well, print on demand.
That makes so much sense. No minimums, no inventory. Like, it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. For sure. Hey, thanks for going first. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I love it. I've been actually kind of going this route. I'm fixing up my little studio to videotape, and then randomly I got a new phone. AT&T. We lost a phone. They replaced it with an upgrade, and then I can actually upgrade that one they went from an 8 to 11, and now they said I can get a free upgrade to 13. So I'm a happy camper. With this, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, you should go and get a demo, which is like the test drive that they'll show you all the bells and whistles and plans and packages and everything else, and you can decide if it's for you. But I can send you an article on how to photograph the work too. It's pretty easy to do.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, I don't want to take up all your time, although I could, but
yeah. Well,
anybody else here?
Thanks, Margo. Appreciate you going first. All right, Blair, you're up next. Go ahead, Blair.
Hi, sorry, I'm eating lunch over here, so I don't want everyone to have to watch me. I kind of have two questions.
Wait, you look familiar. Have you been here before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Welcome back.
I had a collection launch last Monday, and I only had 10 pieces in it. Sold 2 of them.
Awesome.
And I I feel like I'm really good at building up to the launch, and
Mm-hmm.
then after I launch, and then there's still pieces left. I feel like I'm just
Yeah.
like, now what do I do? I feel like repetitive, just being like, here's this, buy it.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of like behind the scenes like videos and stuff leading
Mm-hmm.
up to it, and so now I'm kind of like, what do I do?
Now what? That explains like literally every single solitary creative in the world, right? Like you hammer it with all this like encouragement and excitement, and you're doing all this hard marketing, and then you're into the valley of just quietness. Yeah, it just has to be regular, consistent marketing the whole way through. I mean, you can't ever stop. You can't ever come off the gas. I feel like I looked at
Yeah.
your stuff. Did I look at your stuff the last time?
Yeah, I
can't
think we
remember.
looked at my Instagram the last time I was on.
Yeah,
this.
yeah. You've got skills for sure. You're the disconnect, I imagine, is probably just in what you're doing in a marketing standpoint and doing it consistently. That's it.
Yeah.
You need to sign up.
Well, I have another question
Yeah.
because I'm a web designer and I'm
Waste
very
of your time.com.org, and you know it is.
what?
Waste of your time to build your own and go through all that and to maintain.
Well, I've already
it,
done
worry about
that.
it.
So
yeah, I know.
my question is, I really like how my website looks, but there are definitely some features that you guys have, like being able to put like a frame on it or a mat, whatever.
Yeah.
But how editable are your websites? Because like I said, I'm very particular about how I want my website to look.
For sure.
And
you get JavaScript level, CSS level if you want it. I don't want you to do any of that though. I really don't. And the reason is that I'll look at your business, and what normally happens, and I think this is like a critically important sort of mental model / framework. Every once in a while, what happens is that I'll grab a batch of people that have like filled out the demo form, and I'll go and look at their entire everythings. You know, we have like this little software that scrapes their socials and everything else. And so I've looked at thousands of websites, and what artists and photographers and creatives are really good at are spending a ton of time on websites, getting them to look exactly how they want, beautiful, properly communicating their creative, this, that, and the other. And I look at a ton of these websites. And what they don't understand, what most don't understand is we're not reinventing the wheel with websites. All we're trying to do with our website is mimic the ideal art buying experience. The ideal art buying experience is in an art gallery. It always has been. Right. You walk into an art gallery, what do you notice about all of them? White walls, minimalist, not a bunch of distractions. The art is front and center, and almost everywhere you go all over the world, they look like that for a reason, because it is the most effective way to sell art. Then I look at artists and photographers' site, and pardon my French, there's goofy shit everywhere. And things moving in like this in different colors and gradients, and all you're doing is pulling my focus a million ways away. So we figured out through testing and iteration how to achieve a very high conversion rate. I understand I needed to look the way that I want it to look, and I get that. I'm not going to fight you on that because I would lose. But that's still time, Blair, that you're not spending on doing the marketing that is actually going to increase the income that you're making from the art. And I care about that more. So that's my 2 cents.
Right. Well, the website's done. So at this point, it's fine. It's just, if I was to start somewhere else, that would be important to me.
Yes. So. But the website's also not working. Otherwise you wouldn't be here.
That's maybe true. It's not my full-time. It's my kind of side thing. So that's probably a big reason why I don't focus as much on the marketing and stuff.
Oh, it's super hard. And your mom and you got kids. Trust me. I know that. I know the whole game. Yeah. Not easy.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, my pleasure. I would totally have to battle with her. I'd be like, Blair, stop messing with the CSS. The CSS is like the back-end graphical stuff. And I don't even want to get into it. No one needs to know what it is. Just get it out of your head. It doesn't matter. But yeah, who else, guys? Questions? Questions on this Monday? It's a quiet bunch today. One other thing that I do want you guys all to read, consume, check out, and I'm going to put it in the chat right now. I just finished this thing, and I'm very, very proud of it. And the response I've gotten is like on it has been like nothing I've ever seen. And I'm going to put it in here. And don't worry what it says about the title, for artists and photographers that are already selling. But this thing gives you a framework, okay, for how to contemplate and how to think about pricing and what's most important about pricing. Pricing is one of those things that utterly, totally, and completely paralyzes artists and photographers because they are so worried about charging what they're worth and getting more than time and material and not getting negotiated and grinded down. And how do I raise prices? And all of these things are so fixable, and this article will do it, and it doesn't even take that long to read. I want you guys all honestly to click this thing, open it in a browser, and read it later. If you want, I've got podcasts on it too. If you'd rather listen to me yap about it, which they're good too. But I've never gotten the feedback that I've gotten on this thing in my entire life. I mean, I'm having people on Facebook tell me it's the best thing they've ever read in their entire lives. So seriously, read that thing. I think it'll help. And yes, I will. Jay's asking me to email it. I should probably just append it to the page I send you after the fact. In fact, I will do that. Or you can Google it. But it's incredibly impactful. And one of the other things that I'm going to do is, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm working on an ultimate guide to fairs and shows right now, which is going to be another killer one. I'm going to publish that sometime this week. So for anyone that's doing fairs and shows, you will see it in email. Highly recommend you look at that, click on that, because it's awesome. Just some really, really good content at a high level about how to get the most ROI when you do a fair or show. All right, hold on. Someone's asking me a question on... Can you do augmented reality for art? I believe your solution is supposed to offer that, or am I incorrect? Yes. No, you're correct. New home helpers, you can do it. Sometimes, let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if it'll let me do this. I got to get all the way down to the bottom. He's asking about this augmented reality feature we have, which I like. Let me just show you. So what this allows people to do is essentially come to your website, and they can come to your website, and with their phone, i.e. they don't have to download any software at all, they are able to use the phone to grab your art, okay? And with the phone's camera, and I gotta fast forward so they can get to it. So here it is. On the right-hand side is the phone on the website. And I think we call this live preview with AR is what we call it. And what it allows them to do is, ooh, this art looks interesting. I wonder what it would look like on my wall, with my home decor and my colors and what size should I get and all these various different things. And so if you click live preview here, it uses the iPhone or your Android phone's camera, and then it takes your work from your website and puts it in augmented reality into the camera. And then with the camera, you can just take the work, size it up, size it down to all the various different sizes that you offer, and you could show it like this, anywhere in any house, any room. And you can kind of take screenshots of it. So I find it's most useful, new home helpers, like in consultative sales, meaning when you have a sale on like the 90th yard line and someone's saying to you like, hey, I really want to get this piece, but I'm just not sure it's going to fit. And you say, well, I have this augmented reality tool. I can walk you through how it works. It's really rather impressive. And so I find that that's like the most valuable use of it, I would say, where it pulls its weight the best. So yes, that's augmented reality. I hope that helps. Okay, Michelle's saying, I sell mermaid and water-themed art. Is it better in your estimation to separate those or keep them together? No, I think you should keep them together. I think you should keep them together until you figure out what is ultimately going to sell the best for you. And you're not going to know until you start like really getting involved in active marketing. And that just takes time. It just takes time. I use this example all the time, okay? We have a customer, and he's kicking butt. He's kicking butt right now. And he used to have a full-time job where he managed a restaurant, and then he just quit that to do full-time artist. And I told him, I was like, no, don't do it. Give yourself more time to grow the business. But anyway, he's a photographer, and he would take kind of like industrial at night landscape bridge and tunnel type of stuff. I mean, bridges, tunnel. Where did I get the tunnel? Anyway, he sells well with that. He's like in the Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, like that little corridor. His other passion is going into a certain theme park that might or might not have something to do with the mouse and taking photos of the rides. That portion of his business sells on his website, not kidding, right next to all like the gritty, edgy bridge and tunnel stuff. He does fine. He does fine. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter early on if you think you need a niche. Like, don't do that to yourself. Like, what ends up happening is you work towards marketing the business for a year, and you get to the end of the year. And a couple of different things might happen. Number one, you might sell consistently parts of both, in which case you don't have a niche. You don't have to worry about it. Or 80% of your revenue might come from 20% of the work on the site. If that happens, then the world's telling you have a niche. So that's how I would say it goes. And yes, on both. New home helpers, though, I'll tell you, he's asking about the AR. The only limitation of it is iPhone will only allow it to work on Safari, so not on Chrome. So we have this, like, if you're not using Safari as a browser on iOS, then it doesn't work. What can we expect for monthly cost if we sign on to use ASF? Blair, after you pay to sign up, the only monthly fees are just the monthly website fees, so it's in $39 or $49 a month. And then, we do have you do some stuff that centers around print giveaways. And so when you do those, you incur the cost of the print yourself, but trust me, they work. So it will be very, very effective, and it will clearly ROI. So other than that, nothing. I would say, Blair, in your case, I'm just curious, actually. I'm going to unmute you again. What do you mind sharing? Like, what are we at with yearly sales? What'd you do last year in terms of total sales?
Last year, maybe 30.
Okay. You're to the point where you need to be running regular and consistent Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, most people don't understand how to run Facebook and Instagram ads, so we teach you. But the way that Facebook and Instagram work, Reels aside, right? Because Reels are sort of changing the ball game. Before Reels, I should say, but you still need to be doing it. None of your people see your posts because they took that away from us, right?
Yeah.
So we create what are called kitchen sink audiences. And hear me out on this. So you put the Facebook pixel on your website. Anyone that comes to Blair's website goes into these buckets. Everyone on your email list gets turned into an audience. That goes into the bucket. Anyone that's interacted with Instagram, last 365, that goes into the bucket. Anyone that's integrated with Facebook, last 365, that goes into the bucket. Then you go in and you turn your best post, one a week at $10 a day, into an ad. And what that does is it takes us back to the good old days. Meaning, if you have 6,000 people that follow you on Facebook, like, instead of 120 people seeing your content on a weekly basis, you'll get it up to like 5,500, almost 100% if they signed on that week. So all we do with the Facebook and Instagram ads are show them to people that already know who you are, just to keep you top of mind. And once you start doing it and you understand it, it's like a cable bill, right? It's a part of the business expense. You don't ever turn it off. At least until those
I've done
two.
It for other businesses in the past, and
yeah,
seen different levels of success, but ultimately you definitely get more eyes on it.
Yes, 100% you do.
And that's something you guys also set up?
Yeah, we teach you. You with your tech background, you'd have it figured out in 2 seconds. Like once the initial, once the initial, you said you don't have a Facebook page?
Not for my art, no.
We need to fix that. We got to fix
Which
that.
means I probably don't have a business account for my art Instagram. I just realized.
It's okay. The Instagram account can go business or personal and switch in 2 seconds, and it's reversible, at least right now. So that there's no downside there. But you do need a business page for Facebook. And trust me, I get the whole, like, who's on Facebook anymore? No one's even on Facebook. God, I hate Facebook. But we play the long game, and as stupid looking as these things are, I wouldn't bet against him in his war chest, right? Like, you want to be selling art. At some point in time, despite the fact it's not going to be right now, it's probably not going to be in 5 years, people are going to put these on for like an immersive gallery experience. It's just going to happen. And so I want you on that,
Okay. I can do that.
Yeah. And it's getting easier and easier and easier with the kiddos, right? I mean, mine are in camps all day, by which I mean it's not easy at all. So trust me.
I still have a 2-year-old, so
Oh, you're in it. Yeah. Mine are 4 and 6 and just lunatics.
Okay.
Absolute lunatics. But we got a plan. We got a plan for when they're 18 and 20, and you have all kinds of time, Blair.
Exactly.
All right. Good. So yeah, as a final, and I muted you again. Sorry. If you're selling $30,000 a year, it makes sense to invest the $10 a day on the Facebook ads and never stop. So I would strongly encourage you to do that. And that's an additional, what is that? I mean, it's an additional $3,700 a year. Plus the work. You can do that. You can afford that. You are going to sell an extra piece or two as a result of it, and capture more email addresses and keep the business going. So way worth it. Way worth it. All right. Lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Anybody else? Questions? Comments? While you guys are contemplating that, I will say that this is a particularly good month to sign up because given kind of the economic landscape that we're in, gas prices, inflation, don't even get me started. I live in California, highest taxes and worst gas prices. This month, we're building everyone's website for them. So you don't even have to do the website yourself at all. We build the entire thing for you from start to finish, which is something we've never done before. And it's, I run the marketing department. My line on it is like, look, times are tough economically. I know we're not the inexpensive website example of all website examples. So we build the whole thing from start to scratch, which is, death in the family, public speaking, moving, and building another website. Artist fears in order, with maybe some different ranking here or there. No one wants to build a website ever again, so I totally understand that. Margo, I can't tell if you raised your hand again or not. Did you raise your hand again? Yeah, okay. I'm unmuting you again. Don't worry.
Oops. Yeah, I did.
Yep, good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so sorry.
Mhm.
I was going to ask you then, can you do other like models for training and challenges like funnels, building funnels? That's a big thing, right?
In the art world, not as much. Not as much. It's just, technically any online sale, there is a funnel there, right? So
Right.
funnels are a thing, but they're not in like the hardcore traditional marketing world the same kind of thing. It's just not how art sells. Now, you will be running sales. You will be, participating in sort of advanced marketing techniques that center around the sale, but I'd still be reticent to call that a funnel. It's not the funnel in like the normal internet jargon marketing guru nonsense. Like, people take time to buy art. They want to know who the artist is. They want to feel bonded to you. The social media sites are critically important. Instagram being the most important because it's a giant visual search engine, and that's how it goes. But we do teach you plenty of advanced marketing. If you want to call it a funnel, you could, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't. I learned all this stuff, but I didn't see how it was effective for unless you were teaching painting classes.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that wasn't where I was going with it. But I've also thought about this because I've had my stuff in shows and return on investment. That was what I was looking at, going, wait, it's going to cost me $3,000 to be in this show, and how long? And
yeah, so I'll talk to that, and it's super top of mind for me right now. Like I said, because I'm writing this big post on it, but the shows and fairs, okay, without question, and again, pardon my French, we know are giant pains in the ass. You have to load the thing up. You have to pay the booth fees, go through all that song and dance, sometimes drive far away, but even if it's not far away, it's like moving, right? We know how big of a stress that is. That being said, they do offer incredible opportunities to, yes, make sales, but more importantly, capture leads, by which I mean email addresses, snail mail addresses. So when you know a few things about shows and you're marketing consistently after the fact, you start to realize that the smart artist, the smart photographer can afford to, one, lose money on a show and make it up in the end because they do regular consistent marketing. And then also the leads that you capture in person, face-to-face, will be some of the most valuable leads that you can capture in your business because they are in person, face-to-face. And what a smart artist realizes is $3,000 in booth fees, right? And the hotel and everything else. You sell $2,000 at the show and you captured 72 email addresses. Okay, great. So that $2,000, you're still down $1,000 on the whole thing. Year one, because you're marketing consistently, somebody comes back in and buys a piece for $500, right? So now you're only down $500 on the show. Year three, because you've been marketing consistently, sending regular emails to the email, having sales, you're top of mind. Someone gets a bonus at work, buys the vacation house, and has to outfit an entire house, and you get $25,000 worth of sales because you had been marketing consistently. That's how it happens in the real world. And the shows and theirs, like, you know, if you, I sort of, the analogy I use is like, they can be an incredibly important part of a well-balanced art photography marketing diet, right? Like, I'm not saying you have to do them all the time. I know they're exhausting. I know I would never want to do one because being on my feet for 8 hours, like, gives me trade show flashbacks, which I had to do earlier in my career. But they can be extremely effective. And if I did have an art business, I would probably say, like, look, you know, I'm in my 40s. I got another 20 years that I could potentially do these. I'm going to do 4. I'm going to do probably early on, I'm going to do like 4 to 10 a year. And I know that every single solitary time that I do it, some are going to be home runs, some are going to be duds, but I'm going to capture leads at every single solitary one. So I'm going to get myself set up correctly. And then after like 4 or 5 or 6 years, those leads, assuming you're marketing consistently, are such a shot in the arm in the business that you can just build year after year after year after year on them. And a lot of those folks will come back and buy 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 pieces. And the reality is that it's just harder to do that digitally. It just is. It just is. And when you understand all of the things that you can do at a show to get the most ROI, and that's as hard as I'm going to tease my article, it is a game changer. It is a night and day. When you're fully equipped and you do it correctly.
Yeah, that's good. Because one of my friends actually, I said, well, just use it as marketing, because I had to tap out. I saw that I wasn't in the right timing for that. But she was, and I said, you're not going to sell anything, but you're going to get notoriety. It's going to look good.
We're in the business of selling things. We got to sell things. No, there's no button for notoriety on the ATM machine.
Right. But, you know, for me, that was like $3,000. I mean, all of these were like, you know, pretty big prices because you got to put your stuff up. And then, but she had a different business, so she could hold out for, you know, a year. And so we actually had a conversation about that, because that made sense, right? That if you want to use it for marketing, and then she was able to parlay. But like you said, I like the way you're talking about it, because you got to be in the game, but it's the long haul. Right?
It's the long game. No one plays the long game. And, you know, it's also too, you know, it's not hyperbole on my part when I've been running essentially 3 of these for almost 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in March, I guess. So yeah, whatever. Is it 3 years? I don't even know. I've talked to so many people. I mean, I'm talking every age demographic, every niche, every different stage of career, this country, other countries, in addition to all the customers. And the biggest lie that artists and photographers are sold, and have been sold traditionally, that you can somehow just create the thing and then go and take the thing to the galleries, and the galleries will sell it. And you don't have to do any sales or any marketing, and you will make money. And what I've come to find out, because the number of people that are, let's just put it this way, making over 6 figures a year in take-home pay, or not even that, say 6 figures gross, is kind of like the number of people that we know that are professional athletes.
Yeah.
That's what the odds are, right? Everybody knows somebody that plays tennis. Do any of you guys know a professional tennis player? Everyone knows somebody that plays basketball. That's how bad the odds are in the gallery model. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for like the smallest amount. And it's like playing the lotto. So why would you want to go that route? You wouldn't. What you do want to do is you want to build a direct business. In order to build a direct business, especially in a creative space, it is a pain in the ass, especially early on. But if you work the plan consistently year after year after year, you can get there. And that's, again, where the shows and theirs come in. They're incredibly important.
Yeah. You know what? I just want to mention, during COVID, with our shutdown, I got on Clubhouse, and I met a lot of gallery owners, and they were talking about it, and really high-end stuff. And they were going, hey, most of these people aren't going to make any money. You know, and first of all, their cuts like 50% or more.
I know. And they don't get, and you don't get to know who purchased the work. Yeah, it's super shaded. Do you know what the even dirtier secret is? And so, just so you guys don't think like you're taking this from Company Mouthpiece, that you're taking this from Company Mouthpiece. So, a while back, an economist wrote a book called Freakonomics. I don't know if you've heard of that or not. Very, very, very good books, and they turned it into a podcast after the fact, and not like a podcast like I do a podcast. Like, these guys are seriously funded, and the podcast is insanely good. So one of the authors of the thing was Dubner, and this guy's gnarly. You can look him up. It's a huge book, huge deal. So they did a 3-part series, and I'm gonna send this to you, and it's the hidden side of the art market. And they start interviewing a bunch of gallery owners and a bunch of people that have worked in galleries, and some of the biggest ones in the U.S. Do you know what the dirty little secret is? 99.9% of art never appreciates ever.
Yeah.
At all. Right? Even the stuff sold in the galleries. In addition to a bunch of other ones, but there's a reason that they're so opaque. You know, they don't want anyone knowing what truly goes on in that world, and it's not good for the artist. Not good for the artist. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. And I'll lower my hand.
No worries, I could do it for you. All right, guys, I've talked myself in circles. I feel like we can leave it there. I hope you found the session valuable. I will be emailing you after the fact. I want you to read that advanced guide on pricing. It will really help you out. No matter where you are in the game, especially if you're just getting started, but of course more so if you're starting to cook with gas and make good sales, or you're at 30K like Polaris. Player needs to read it too. Other than that, you should request a demo. You can do that anywhere on our website. That's how you get the tour of our entire product, all the bells, all the whistles. If you sign up between now, I don't know if it's the end of next week or the end of the month. I don't even never know what the time frames are, but we'll completely build the site for you, which is pretty cool. One less thing to worry about, and you can get ready to do your marketing. But thank you guys all for hanging around, and hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you on the future or on the inside, or come back and leave me a comment on Facebook or something. I answer pretty much all those. Bye, guys.